ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a while since I've jumped on YouTube and done a video, so I figured today is as good a time as any to get it started again. So today's episode is called Reframing Your Perspective, and basically what's brought this on, my girlfriend actually gave me the idea for this episode, and it's sort of the whole thing of when you're starting out or when you're starting out again, how do you actually go about doing that? What are some of the things I tell people, who are trying to get their fitness or their nutrition or their supplementation or those sort of health and fitness aspects of their life, trying to put that all together so then they continue to make progress and advance with their goals. And before we start this episode, I just want to kind of reframe where I'm at, because that has played a massive role into how I'm approaching this episode. So for those of you that don't know, I no longer work in a gym. I have been working in a gym for about 2 years now, and it was good, but with COVID and lockdowns and declining members who really found a value in PTs, I found within the area that I was training that it just wasn't viable. And when you're a PT trying to provide good content and try to help people advance towards their goals, I had a core group of people who were awesome, who were supporting me through that time, and a lot of my clients who showed up through thick and thin. However, it was just one of those situations where I had to sort of sit back, look at it from an outside perspective and go, okay, what do I actually want out of this? And that's a really good starting point for reframing your perspective on your goals, your motivations, your ambitions, etc. So for me, I have given up the face-to-face personal training for now. That's not to say I'm not going to go into it in the future. If a good opportunity does present itself, then possibly, yes, I will look at doing that. However, I am sticking to online coaching at the moment, which will relaunch as of the 14th of June. But shameless plug there, I will get back to the episode. So, reframing your perspective. There's no doubt that 2020 and 2021 have thrown a massive curveball at people in terms of approaching your health and fitness goals. And for some people, maybe you were going to the gym very regularly and then home workouts just weren't cutting it. Maybe you're coming out of these lockdowns and you're like, all right, I'm going to put my health, my fitness, I'm going to put that at the forefront. The hard thing can be where to start or where to get the motivation to start. And for me, I know for example, when I was working in the gym, I was working 2 jobs. I'd work in the gym and work in a sup store. The sup store is pretty much guaranteed hours. I'd be on a regular schedule. The gym is sort of like here, there, and everywhere. And if you're a PT, you sort of know that your hours can change. And they can change pretty quickly, where you might have 20 clients booked in for a week, and you might be doing 30 or 40 sessions, and then sometimes you might only have 5 to 10. And it's very hard to get a routine going throughout times of uncertainty. I think a good thing is, as a starting point, just identifying a stable routine. If you're one of those people like myself, I cannot function and do things consistently when my routine is chopping and changing every 2 seconds. It just doesn't work like that for me. So I needed to look honestly and see what it is I wanted. From there, it was a lot easier to go, all right, this job is giving me routine, it's giving me structure, it's giving me something with a bit of guarantee. This other job, however, it's not. It sort of chops and changes, and it's not what I need right now for me to achieve my goals. So I made the difficult decision, difficult at the time, but long term, is paying off, to just quit the gym, quit working there. And the main reason for that is I wanted to train more, and I do eventually want to step on stage and do a bodybuilding contest, at least once, but would probably like to pursue it a little bit more than just stepping on stage once and, maybe I'll walk away with a trophy or a good placing. However, working at the gym, I couldn't do that. And it's hard because you can say, all right, you're working in the gym, well, shouldn't it be easy in between clients to just jump in and, do your own workout? Yes and no. For me, I don't like training where I work, because people keep stopping you or asking you or telling you there's this problem or, how do they do this particular exercise, or can I spot them? And it wasn't viable. When I'm in the gym, I don't usually talk to people. I might have like 2 or 3 guys which I'll say hello and, have a quick, 30-second conversation with, but I don't sit there and talk because I'm not there to do that. I'm there to work out. So when I'm looking at where I want to go, I had to establish my routine, and admittedly, trying to get into the headspace of, all right, I want to step on stage, that needs a lot of things to line up perfectly. And for you, you might have a similar goal, or you might have a very, very overarching broad goal. Now, you can't just expect to change everything and then start putting in these new routines. You don't work like that. It takes about 2 months to instill, develop, and stick to a habit. The good things are just, little things done well, consistently, amount to habits. The best thing you can do is not to try and change your whole lifestyle, but change one thing at a time. So my partner works as a psychologist, and she said there's such thing as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And that's basically, if you want to change your circumstance, say you're feeling depressed or you're feeling anxious and you're just lying in bed and bemoaning the fact that you feel this way, lying in bed isn't going to change it. So what you need to do is you need to just change a little circumstance, and that could be as simple as getting out of bed, making a bed, and sitting in the lounge. Just changing it up. That might not immediately change something, but you've gotten yourself out of that position where you're lying in bed, not doing anything. Or you might go, all right, let's get out of bed and go for a walk. Or if you don't go for a walk, just walk to the mailbox and come back. You're just changing your physical location in order to try and manifest physical change. So, for a lot of people who, during lockdown, during COVID, or just due to a general lack of motivation with these uncertain and changing times, how do we get started? It literally is just one little step at a time. So, for most people when they're starting out, it is very unwise for us to say, all right, say you're overweight and you want to lose, say, 10 kilos. Say you don't have a very good exercise routine. Say you're maybe going once or twice a week to the gym at best. Say your diet is subpar at best. It would be unwise of me as a coach or anyone else as a coach to get you to change everything instantly. Your best thing to do would be to change one aspect, so maybe that's just your training, committing to 3 or 4 training sessions a week, and do that consistently for 4 to 8 weeks. Then, once you've developed that habit of, all right, on these days at this time, that's when I do my training, do that consistently for up to 2 months, you'll get yourself into that habit and into that routine of doing that little thing well, consistently, building a habit. You can then go, all right, now I'm going to clean up my diet a little bit. So you could go, all right, I know that I'm probably eating too many carbs. I know that my protein intake isn't anywhere near it needs to be. You could say that maybe you need to introduce more fruit and vegetables into your diet. Just make those little changes at a time. It doesn't mean you need to completely overhaul your diet. Basically what you want to do is try and get as much results from as little as possible. As lazy as that sounds, that's the best way to do it, because too often people are doing too much of one thing and neglecting the other. Your best thing to do is do each little thing well, not overachieve it, and do that consistently. You'll get a lot better results than someone who's going balls to the walls training 5-6 times a week, absolutely smashing their workouts, and then they eat like crap. That's not going to help anyone. So for me personally, I'm just looking to get back into a routine, which I'm sticking to really well, of working out 5 times a week. For me, that's achievable. It's something that is very achievable and very relevant to my goals. And if you need to, just revisit our SMART goals video, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Make sure your goals have a purpose. But I'm just sticking to getting my training. If I can, for a prolonged period of time, show that I can commit to the training, then good, I can start introducing a little bit more change. Now for me, once I pretty much set my mind to do something, I will do it. So I've started to clean up the diet a little bit. It isn't anywhere near perfect, as you guys are going to see in the coming weeks. I'm going to show you a big transformation where essentially I'm going to do a cover up, not reveal my physique, but you're going to get like regular weight check-ins and everything. But it is all to do with what I'm doing beforehand, building up those goals. So, building your habits are really important. Just choose one thing at a time to perfect. You don't need to change your life, just change one thing at a time. For me personally, if someone is just starting out and they're looking to alter their nutrition or alter their training program, your best thing to do is not to neglect the basics, because it's oftentimes the basics which yield the most consistent improvement. So for me, I've got my 4 non-negotiables. One of them's a little bit of an extra, and you'll see why. So for me, I want to aim for about 10,000 steps a day. Now, if you have a Fitbit or a smartwatch, you'll be able to track that. Usually your phone can be a little bit inaccurate, whereas something with the pedometer on it can usually be a little bit more accurate, within about 5 to 10%. With that, you just want to make sure your daily activity level is steady, so you're burning calories. Make sure you're not just sitting down all day, otherwise that's not going to do anything. Go for a half-hour walk. Go, if you're parking at the shopping centre, park a little bit further away. That way you have to walk a little bit further. Increase your incidental activity. There's little tips and tricks you can use, but 10k steps a day for most people should be more than enough, especially if you have a job that requires you sitting down most of the day. Just going out for a quick 2-minute walk around the office. Do what you have to do, because if it's important to you, you'll find a way to get it done. This one's a big one. 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day minimum. Now for me, people will test this, I like to sleep. I really do. I will wait until the last minute that I possibly can to leave home and go to work, because I like to sleep in. It's something that I identified working in a gym. I wasn't getting a lot of rest. I wasn't getting anywhere near enough sleep. And that means when I wasn't getting enough sleep, I didn't have the energy to go training. I just didn't feel like committing to a very strict diet. I didn't even have very good relationships with people because I was tired, I was grumpy, I was grouchy. Sleep's important. Don't neglect it. You might have a family, you might have kids, you might have a significant other that gets up earlier than you do. Try and aim for the 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And a little trick that I do is I have 2 or 3 lamps within my house, and as the night progresses, I'll have all of them on at first, and then as the night progresses, I'll turn off one, then turn off the other, and I'll slowly dim the lights to get my body into that sense of, alright, it's time to go to sleep. Then when I get up in the morning, usually straight outside. This will stimulate there's little optics in your eyes that basically start converting serotonin to melatonin. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to signal to your body that, hey, this is our normal rhythm. And the more you can get into that consistent pattern of dimming that light, because there's a lot of artificial light, let's, face it, we don't go to bed when the sun sets. A lot of people are up for, 4 to 6 hours after that, catching up with their family, catching up with friends, socializing, or just sitting in front of the TV. Whatever the case is, try and just limit that light exposure as the night progresses, and then when you get up in the morning, go outside or get, some natural light onto you, signal to your brain that, okay, we're waking up now. Give your body a little bit of a natural boost, but don't neglect your sleep, and try and get into a regular sleep schedule. That way you won't really need alarms, which I'm notorious of sleeping through every single one of them. Hopefully it gets better. Fingers crossed. Alright, my next non-negotiable is drink 2 to 3 litres of water daily. Now, for some people who don't like water, maybe you think the water in your coffee counts. Unfortunately, it doesn't, because caffeine dehydrates you. So roughly for every cup of coffee you drink, you need to be drinking 3 to 4 cups of water. Caffeine does dehydrate. It is a vasoconstrictor, so it makes your blood vessels smaller, and it makes them not able to pump and transport oxygen, blood, minerals, water, nutrients as efficiently. Also, if you don't have water, you're less likely to have the ability to shuttle those nutrients in order to gain weight, strip fat, get better pumps, whole lot of recovery stuff in there as well. So again, just the non-negotiables, just little things you can implement, which if you do these, it will be a lot easier to reach those goals of making your nutrition better, or sticking to your diet plan, or sticking to a workout regimen. My last non-negotiable is you should have 30 minutes of you time per day. Whether that's going for a walk, listening to music, alone time by yourself, doing something that you enjoy, working on a hobby, gaming, something like that. 30 minutes a day minimum, just for you. Now, for those of you who maybe over the course of COVID, maybe you've gotten into a routine, but then kind of fallen off because circumstance changes and life happens, and we know that it's very hard to just keep doing the same thing over and over consistently. Having a little break every now and then, but not beating yourself up when you sort of stray off the path. It's alright to not be 100% on every single second of the day. Remember that as long as you stick to a few non-negotiables, the things that really mean a lot to you, you'll be fine. And then you can start implementing those little habits. For those of you who are starting out in the gym or restarting out in the gym, try and eliminate as much of the guesswork as possible. So if you're starting out, go to group sessions where the sessions and exercises are already planned out for you. You don't have to think, you just have to rock up and do the work. Using apps like MyFitnessPal to track your food. That way you don't have to think, you can literally just scan barcodes, you can input whatever product it is you're eating, and it will calculate how many macros are in that product for you. There's a lot of different things you can do which will eliminate a lot of the stress and a lot of the guesswork out of this whole system for you. So, if you are starting out and you do need maybe a little bit of motivation to, go to the gym, or maybe you're not sure on where to start with a workout program, go to a trusted coach. Don't just go to any old person, just because, hey, they might look good. Look for someone with experience. Coaches are invaluable. Personal trainers are invaluable. Preferably the more experience they have, and I will clarify this by saying You could have someone who's just fresh out of doing a Cert 3 and 4 in fitness, and they might not know anything. I do know a guy who studied at uni and studied sports science, and then he tried to get into the fitness industry, and they said, no, you need to have your Cert 3 and 4. This guy is a qualified sports scientist, powerlifter, a guy with years of experience. Practical experience, in my opinion, is more valued than a certificate, because, being honest, there is very little I learnt from doing my certificate 3 and 4. Very, very little. I got to know about the whole protocol of what gyms expect and what the fitness industry expects, which is good, all the sort of legalities and the little day-to-day running of a gym. But in terms of the client face-to-face, putting programs together, that sort of stuff, I've been doing that since, the last decade, almost. 8 or 9 years, coming up on 10. So that practical experience will be a lot more invaluable than someone who doesn't gym, doesn't train, doesn't know the struggles. We all go through those struggles and those difficulties, and trust me, 2020 and 2021 have not been easy for people who want to get their health and fitness on track, because home workouts sometimes just don't cut it, as opposed to going to the gym, to a place with really good equipment, with good machines, with some really good weight, and just having a good workout. Again, something's better than nothing, but just start small. So for those of you who need to just do the little things, make sure you're getting your 10k steps a day. Make sure you're getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep daily. Drink 2 to 3 litres of water a day, and have those 30 minutes just to yourself. Do the little things well, and don't try and overhaul your life. Just focus on one thing at a time. And those little wins will build up into bigger wins, which creates bigger successes. All right, pretty broad subject this week. For those of you guys who would like to know anything else regarding nutrition, supplementation, and training, we're going to have a lot more videos coming out, but if there's anything you'd like to see, drop a comment down below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tag your friends. You can share this on Instagram as well with my Instagram handle at Garian_EvansPT or at team_GTrain. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM, leave something in the comments below. And if this helped you, leave a like, tell someone about it. Remember, it's just about doing the little things, because those little things will build into big wins. All right, guys, until next time, GTrain out.